Hello there, ladies and gents. Right, going to do one that I've mentioned once before. BOTOX. I know, looking at me, you're going to say to yourself, well, what does he know about BOTOX? Well, I'll tell you now. I'll tell you what I know. Absolutely nothing. And I mean nothing. And I don't want to know a lot. But what I do know is there's bundles and bundles and bundles of people out there having BOTOX that don't need it. And there's bundles of people having it. And I think to myself, why would you put yourself through it? Are you not bothered ultimately how you're going to look? Are you not concerned what it's going to do to your face later in life? Are you not watching the TV and seeing all the people that it's gone wrong for and people that have probably regretted it, I would have imagined? But no, people are still having it done. Now, why have I brought it up today? Well, I'll tell you why. Like I said to the few that may have seen over the last couple of days, I was out for the day on Saturday, had a cracking day out. And I got myself involved in what could have become an argument. It wasn't, but it was getting there. And I purposely pulled away because I was out with family and it was with a family member. And anyway, this young lady who's part of my family got mentioning BOTOX to another one of my family. And straight away my antenna goes up because I hate, especially young girls having it done, because I don't think they need it. I'll tell you what I've got in my family, ladies and gents. I've got 2 girls in my own family, 2 daughters, both lovely looking girls. I've got 2 nieces, both lovely looking girls. I would imagine all 4 out of them have had one form of BOTOX or another. I know none of them need it because, as I said, they're all lovely looking girls. And the girl in question didn't pick up on this because that's what people do. They don't pick up on the compliment. They pick up on what they think is a dig, and often it isn't. But I got asked questions, and I shouldn't have got asked, because the thing is with me, viewers, you'll know this if you've watched me long enough, and I've told you before, my problem is I tell people the truth. And I say to people, if you don't want to know the truth, or if the truth will offend you, don't ask me the question, then I can't offend you. But I can't lie to anybody. And I find it difficult just to say, it's nothing to do with me, don't bring me into it, because people then take offence anyway, because they think they know what I'm thinking, and they're usually right. But I got brought into something, and I was stood next to my niece at this do, and I'm stood next to her from side on, and I noticed from side on that her lips didn't look as they should, not as she was born, not as I'd seen them in the past. And I thought, aye, you've had BOTOX. And it transpired later on that I was correct. Because I normally find when people have had BOTOX and got the lips closed, that's when they look more like they've got BOTOX. If they've not had much of it done, and not had it many times done in the past, when they start talking, they don't look quite as bad. Anyway, I thought, why would you have it done? You look lovely without it. You don't need it. But I said nothing, because it wasn't my place, and she isn't my daughter. Anyway, a bit later they get talking, and this young lady who tried in the end to pick a fight with me. I was very good. I didn't bite that much. I normally do. I normally don't walk away from a fight, but I didn't want to upset her, and she thought I'd had a go at her, and I'd not. As I said, I told her you look lovely and I don't think you need it, but that's up to you. I know it's down to you. And by the way, I mean, look at me. I've got that there. I don't want to go too close, I'll scare you. It's a line, it's off centre. It's like a frown line. I could have that BOTOX and be all flat, but I'm not bothered. I've got the grey under there and the bags, and in many respects, I'd like to have them tied up a little better, but I'm not bothered because it's just me and we are what we are. I get now and again the odd person having BOTOX, and for the right reasons, I get that. But when it's young girls, especially young girls that are good looking and they don't need it, well, they just don't need it, and that I don't get. Anyway, they got talking and I got asked for an opinion, and I said, I thought you'd had it done earlier. I noticed from side on. What do you mean you know it? And I said, no, I just noticed from side on. Because when your mouth's closed, you can tell. When you talk, and it's harder to tell. And what are you trying to say? I said, well, it doesn't look right in my mind. You look nicer as you are before, and you don't need it. And I repeated it a couple of times. And then this person said, well, your daughter's had it done. One of my daughters has recently. I didn't know it. I could barely tell. I'm not great without the bins, so I put the bins on. And I said, oh yeah, I could see she's had it done. And I could see where. I could only just tell she's had it done in her lips. And I could only just tell. And the reason I could only just tell was one side of her mouth was only slightly, very, very slightly bigger than the other side. There was a slight imbalance, and it's minimal. It really is minimal. But you see, viewers, I see lots of people on the television that have had it done more than once, and 6, 7, 8 times out of 10, they look lopsided in the end. One always gets more than the other. I know they're not supposed to, and I know these people on TV going to all the best practitioners, but many, many times you can tell, and people will tell me you can't, but you can. And I could with my daughter, I was disappointed because she doesn't need it. She really doesn't. But she might carry on doing it, and in 5 or 10 years' time, she'll come back to me and say, Dad, that's if I'm still here, by the way, I wish I hadn't had it done now. You are right, there is a difference. I don't look as I was born, and she was born, and she looks lovely. She doesn't need it. My niece doesn't need it. But it's up to themselves. But what they were saying, and this is the bit of the message, this is the bit, I heard one say to the other, and I don't know amounts, but let me just make it up because I can't remember it. She said, well, I asked for 200 whatever. And the person who gave me said, no, you don't need 200. You only need 125. 200 would be too much for you. I like that, she said. I like it that they didn't just put more in, because obviously they're charging less, they're putting less in, when they could have put all in, but they care, and that's when you know they're good people, when they say, no, you only need this much in. And my daughter said something similar. Well, mine's the same. I asked for it, and they said, no. And I thought, and I never said this, I thought, wait a minute. If they really care, and they're really good people, like my niece and my daughter was saying, let's say I'm the person giving the Botox, and I'm the one that really cares, I would say to them both, no, ladies, none of you need it. You're not of an age yet where you need it. One of you's, 26, one of you's 31, 32. You've got no lines, you've virtually got no frown lines, you've not got this, you've not got that. You're young looking faces, you're attractive, you don't need anything. Now that would be a person that really cared. But they're not going to say that, because they're going to make no money. Turning people away isn't profitable. But that, for me, is people that really cared. So my niece will never see this, my daughter May, and I'm not trying to upset anybody or anything. But I just want to say is when people ask me about how this suits them or that suits them, just expect honesty. If they don't like it, honestly, don't ask me about anything. But I don't believe, ladies and gents, young children, young kiddies should be having Botox. I don't. But it's the same way I don't believe anybody should be going on sunbeds anymore. But they do. I've got one daughter that goes on sunbeds, and it does me head in, and I do everything I can to stop her. She doesn't go on them regularly, but it does me head in. With all we're reading about cancers and whatever else, I don't know why you would put yourself through it. But all I can do as a parent is tell people they're older now, and when, I can't stop them anymore. Wish I could, but I can't. But do I have an opinion? Oh, don't worry, I have an opinion. And do they know it? Oh, they certainly know it. So with a bit of luck, in time, they'll all listen to me. But if they don't, that's life. Why I've brought this up, I don't know. But all I'm saying is, I know it's older people like myself that watch this channel, and I love that, and I'm fine with that. I don't know if many of you agree with me. If you do, let me know, and if you don't, let me know. But all I will say is, you've got young daughters or granddaughters that are doing this to themselves, try to have a word with them. Try to let them have a look at this. If they've got massive imperfections and maybe they're not good looking or whatever else, then that sounds awful, that. Maybe let them mess about with the faces. But when they're young and good looking, why do they need to pump chemicals into the faces? I do not get it. Maybe somebody can tell me I'm wrong and why I'm wrong. A mate of mine, by the way, gives Botox to people. That's his job. But I still don't get it. But that's me, innit? I'm an old fogey. In fact, some call me Britain's grumpy old git, and that ain't far off the mark, that, It really isn't, but I'm trying to do it all in a calm way and talk all nice at the moment. I'm doing a good job of it, I think.